I feel like I look quite nice, and clearly I haven't pulled because I'm by myself, and I'm happily single. I will probably delete this in the morning, but like, if anybody wants to take me on a date or marry me, that would be great. Personally, I don't have a type. If you look at my past exes, you will see that really there's nothing, anything really. As long as you're funny, you're clean, you brush your teeth twice a day and you floss, I think go on to something good. Anyway, okay, bye.
About 6 feet tall, a lot of jailhouse tats.
We start with the classic contradiction. The woman who films herself looking nice, professing to be happily single, but then immediately pivots to asking if anyone wants to marry her. This is not happy. This is frustrated overcompensation. But the real genius of the clip comes when she outlines her no-type type. She starts by saying there's nothing anything really, as long as he's funny, cleans, and flosses twice a day. A few seconds later, the actual criteria drops like a truth bomb. About 6 feet tall, a lot of chill house tats. Wait. You went from brushes his teeth to 6 foot, owns a chill house, and has extensive body art in one breath. That's not no type. That is a hyper-specific, elite, and physically non-negotiable checklist that instantly eliminates 95% of the male population. You're trying to convince the world you are a down-to-earth, low-maintenance partner, but your actual requirements are reserved for a highly specific, geographically limited, and statistically rare aesthetic. The hypocrisy is the punchline. Brushing his teeth is the bare minimum for human decency, but the 6 foot requirement is the arbitrary premium tax you impose on a man simply for existing. Here is the common sense clarity. You cannot demand that men focus on your personality and inner beauty while simultaneously applying a rigid, superficial height filter and a luxury home requirement to theirs. You claim to want a funny man, but you won't even talk to the funny, brilliant guy who is 5'9" and responsibly rents. You are creating an impossible intersection of high-effort physical markers and low-effort personality demands. When you say you're happily single, what you really mean is, I am currently waiting for the 6'2" tattooed property owner who loves flossing to appear magically, and I refuse to adjust my expectations to the reality of the dating market. Your bar isn't high. It's just ridiculously narrow and focused on superficial consumption. This is a supply and demand problem you created, not a male availability issue. If this rant is already hitting too close to home, or if you agree that the no-type girl is the biggest lie since the invention of the fat-free brownie, then you know the drill. Smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. We drop the hard truth bombs weekly, and you don't want to miss the next dose of common sense.
Okay, so I took everyone on TikTok's advice and I stopped initiating conversation, I stopped triple texting, and guess what? Nobody talks to me anymore. Nobody talks to me anymore. Okay, cool.
Enjoy being single.
A cautionary tale for everyone who has ever thought that playing hard to get is the same as being high value. The woman followed TikTok's terrible advice. She stopped initiating conversation and stopped triple texting, only to discover a shocking truth. Nobody talks to me anymore. And her response is a frustrated, cool. This is the moment the passive dating strategy collapses under the weight of its own flawed logic. The silent treatment strategy is built on the false premise that your value is so inherently high that men should be fighting their way through the digital noise just to get your attention, regardless of your effort. It assumes the man is sitting patiently by his phone, waiting for you to test his commitment by doing absolutely nothing. The problem is the men you claim to want, the driven, successful, high-value men, are too busy working on their actual lives and careers to chase a ghost in their DMs. They are not playing passive games. They are looking for active participants who demonstrate genuine interest and communication maturity. When you cease initiating, you don't look mysterious. You look uninterested, unavailable, or even worse, emotionally stunted. You are literally outsourcing all the effort in the relationship to the man, demanding he do 100% of the emotional labor, conversational effort, and planning just to prove his worth. This is the definition of a double standard, demanding high effort from a potential partner while proudly contributing zero. You are hiding behind a passive facade, waiting for someone to earn the right to talk to you, while simultaneously wondering why the communication died. You were not high value, you were just silent. If your interest level registers as 0, you will get 0 interest back. The only men who have the emotional bandwidth to triple text a woman who never replies are the men who have nothing else important going on. The very men you would immediately categorize as low value or lacking purpose. You successfully filtered out the men you didn't want, but you did it by also filtering out the high-quality men who simply lack the time or inclination to perform a juvenile chase. You thought silence was power. It was just invisibility. Common sense dictates that if you want a prize, you must show up for the competition.
Okay, so I need somebody to please enlighten me about why some guys do this super annoying thing where they'll act like they want to genuinely meet up with you, then they'll organise a day or time you're going to meet. Then all of a sudden the day will come and they just either won't talk or they'll bail out at the last minute. They'll just be like, oh, sorry, I got busy. Like, they'll just make up excuses, or it just literally becoming so annoying. Like, my expectations about whether a guy is actually going to show up to the date are becoming so thin. It's so frustrating because, like, I will have booked time out of my busy schedule because I genuinely believed I was going to meet up with them, and then they'll just get busy. It's almost like the date just meant nothing to them, and like obviously meant something to me because, you know, I specifically wouldn't have organised to do stuff with my friends. Like, oh, it's just so frustrating. Like, I've literally got 0 expectations now about whether a guy is going to show up or not. Like, the last one I was supposed to meet up with, he just said, oh, sorry, I got busy because I was putting up the Christmas decorations and I got stuck up the ladder. Like, he got stuck up the ladder. I've heard it all, for real. Like, he needs to do some ladder training before he tries to meet up with me then. It's just so annoying. Like, I can't even anymore.
So many options.
The frustration over men canceling dates last minute with flimsy excuses is palpable. Oh, sorry, I got busy. Or the hilariously specific, stuck up the ladder putting up Christmas decorations. She is angry because she booked time out of her busy schedule, proving the date meant something to her. But here is the hard, cold, logical truth about the no-show. The man's perceived value of the date was lower than his immediate current priority. Men don't bail because they are busy. They bail because the projected value of the interaction, based on your prior communication, was not compelling enough to disrupt the existing flow of their life. The date was interruptible. If a man genuinely thought he was meeting a spectacular woman who would fundamentally improve his weekend, he would hire a contractor to finish the Christmas lights. He wouldn't get stuck on the ladder. He would climb down, call you, and confirm. When a man chooses the ladder over you, he is communicating that the interaction was a low-stakes, low-effort option in his schedule, not a mandatory priority. This is where accountability enters the chat. What energy, vibe, or conversational quality were you projecting in the lead-up that allowed him to view you as a low priority? You are likely presenting as a high-effort commodity based on Part 1's checklist, but delivering a low-effort connection that is easily dismissed. You are reserving your true self for the date, but the date never happens because your pre-date self was unremarkable. Men are looking for chemistry and excitement before they commit the time and money. If the conversation is dull, demanding, or merely transactional, the latter suddenly seems much more compelling. She is now operating with 0 expectations, which is the exact passive energy that guarantees more no-shows. When you don't hold yourself to a high standard of pre-date conversation and engagement, you signal to the man that he doesn't need to hold himself to a high standard of follow-through. His lack of respect for your time is a direct consequence of your lack of respect for the dating process. The frustration is not caused by the men. It's caused by the predictable result of treating dating like a passive waiting game that must be adhered to, regardless of chemistry.
I see why the fellas is mad at us. We used to do better. So I was talking to one of my homegirls not too long ago, and she tells me she's met the perfect guy, right? She's like, he's great, he's handsome, great job, all of that, right?
Hit it once.
Oh, nobody's perfect, of course, but standard-wise, preference-wise, he met everything. So then later on, she tells me, and she's like, oh, I dubbed him. He's just not right for me. And I'm like, well, what happened? Like, everything was good. Like, you were saying, like, this could have been future hubby. Like you was damn near on the right track for everything. Like, he was just matching up. You know what this woman tells me? She says, his car is old. And I say, okay, what does that mean? What does that mean? She's like, well, he's been in his career for 10 plus years. He should have a brand new car. He should have something from this year. Like, why don't you have a more expensive car? Sis, sounds like he doesn't have a car payment. Sounds like he doesn't have an extra $700-800 that he has to spend a month, or how much ever a car payment is. It sounds like he's saving up money. What's the problem? Does it work? Does it have an auxiliary cord? Does it have heat and air conditioning? That's all I really care about. Do the windows go up and down? Has it passed the inspection? That's really all that counts. But you're worried about it being an old car? Really? You're gonna pass him up because his car is old? Just little shit like that explains why these men are sick of us. Because you could have a perfectly good guy with a good career. He takes care of himself. You know what I'm saying? Like,
are fleeting.
Rejecting the perfect guy. Handsome, great job, matched her standards, because his car was old. The friend's reasoning is breathtaking. He's been in his career for 10 plus years. He should have a brand new car. Why don't you have a more expensive car? This is not a standard. This is a phobia of financial discipline disguised as a preference for success. Here is the common sense check that needs to be delivered like a financial sermon. That old car is not a sign of low value. It is a sign of elite financial maturity. It sounds like he has zero car payment. It sounds like he is saving and investing the $700 to $1,000 a month that his peers are spending on rapidly depreciating metal. It sounds like he is prioritizing future wealth over current appearance. You are literally rejecting a man for being financially smart enough to build a substantial net worth, choosing instead to chase the illusion of success, the guy in the new leased car who is one unexpected bill away from bankruptcy. This exposes the fundamental entitlement of the conspicuous consumption mentality in dating. The woman is not looking for a partner. She is looking for a walking, talking display of irresponsible spending that validates her own consumerist worldview. The old car is a symbol of a man who makes calculated, long-term decisions, and that scares the women who are addicted to the instantaneous gratification of a shiny exterior. You are passing on the future CEO who drives a reliable Honda to date the guy who is one monthly payment late on his BMW. You are not rejecting the old car. You are rejecting the financial sanity that comes with it. This small decision perfectly encapsulates why high-value men get tired. They realize they are being judged not on their character or their bank account balance, but on how effectively they use their hard-earned money to signal status to a partner who doesn't understand the difference between debt and wealth. You ask why men are sick of women. It's because you are rejecting the very foundation of stability, financial discipline, in favor of a four-wheeled status symbol. You are not raising your bar. You are simply signing yourself up to date men who love the look of debt as much as you do. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why the men who drive old cars are single, and also why they'll retire 20 years before the rest of us.